She is not my boss. She has never been my boss. Her name is not in my org chart above mine. She does not sign my performance reviews. She does not assign my work. And she does not get to tell me how to do my job. She forgot all of that one afternoon over a 4-hour time card submission. So I reminded her every single Friday at 4:55 in the afternoon. And honestly, best decision I've made all year. If you have ever had a coworker who decided that adjacent to power was the same thing as actual power, this story is going to feel deeply personally satisfying. This is a tale of policy, patience, and the most beautifully petty use of a 30-minute window you will ever hear. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and let me tell you about the woman I now think about every Friday at 4:55. Let me describe the workplace dynamic first, because context is everything here. I work in an office with a fairly standard hierarchy. I have a boss. My boss has people who report to him, including me. And including a colleague I'll call Karen. Not her real name, but I think you'll agree it fits. Karen is not my supervisor. She is, however, the kind of person who has built her entire professional identity around being useful specifically. Useful in ways that create the impression of authority without the official title. She handles a lot of the small administrative tasks that keep our office running, making sure training certifications are current, tracking deadlines, submitting time, things that genuinely do need to get done, and that our boss is grateful to have off his plate. This is a valuable function. I want to be clear about that. Admin coordination matters. What does not matter, what has never been part of that function, is telling people on other teams how to do their jobs. Karen has her own team. She supervises them. That's fine. That's her lane. The problem is that Karen does not believe in lanes. I want to be fair. On an average day, Karen is annoying but manageable. The kind of coworker you learn to navigate. Give her what she wants on the small stuff. Save your energy for things that actually matter. And minimize direct interaction wherever possible. I had gotten pretty good at this system. It had kept the peace for a while. And then came the Sunday. Our whole team was asked to come in on a Sunday afternoon. For hours, everyone in, no exceptions. This happens sometimes. It's not fun, but it's part of the job. And our boss, the actual boss, the person who actually manages us, was clear about how we could handle the compensation. We had two options, flex time or track time. Flex time means you log the Sunday hours informally, and then you leave early on Friday by the same amount. No paperwork trail, no time card entry, just a straightforward swap. Tracked time means you log Sunday on your time card and log the early departure on Friday. Same outcome, different documentation. Our boss said, clearly and without ambiguity, your choice. I chose flex. Karen disagreed. She came to me with the energy of someone delivering important news, the kind of energy that implies they have given this a lot of thought and expect you to be grateful for the guidance. She informed me that I needed to use track time, not flex. Her team was using track time. She had communicated this to them, and I should follow the same process. I explained, politely, that our boss had given us a choice and I had made mine. She pushed back. I said no again. She pushed back again. Here is where I will admit a small character flaw. I hate conflict. Specifically, I hate low-stakes conflict with people who have infinite time and energy to dedicate to being annoying. My usual move with Karen was to just give in, not because she was right, but because the cost of the argument was higher than the cost of compliance. Pick your battles. She wasn't worth a battle, so I said fine, whatever, and mentally made a note to go change the time card entry later. Then I got busy. The afternoon moved on. The time card didn't get updated. I did not anticipate what would happen next. My boss called me in that afternoon. He wanted to understand. He said why I was causing Karen's stress. I want to pause here and really let you sit with that phrase. 'Cause it is a masterpiece of workplace passive aggression. Not Karen raised a concern. Not there seems to be some confusion about the time card process. why I was causing her stress, as though I had done something to her. I took a breath. I explained the situation calmly and completely. Our boss had given us a choice. I had made a choice. Karen had attempted to override that choice. I had declined. And then I got busy and hadn't yet updated the entry, not because I was being defiant, but because I had other work to do. My boss, to his credit, understood immediately. We were fine within about 3 minutes, but I was not done. After the meeting, I sent Karen a message. I kept it simple. She had a problem with something I was doing. She should come to me directly. It would save everyone time, including her. Her reply was fast. She said she had come to me. I hadn't done anything about it, and she had to get these things signed. It was stressing her out, and then she said the sentence that changed everything. It stresses her out. Now, a few weeks ago, that would have been the end of it. I would have noted the phrasing, felt mildly irritated, and moved on. But something about this particular moment, the meeting my boss had just called, the phrase causing her stress, the fact that she had escalated a 4-hour time card to a management conversation made me curious. Why did she care so much? What specifically was the stress about? So I looked into it. Here's what I learned. Per our office policy, time cards must be submitted by close of business on Wednesday, not Monday. Not by noon on Wednesday. Close of business. Wednesday signatures, which is Karen's part of the process, are due by close of business Thursday. I had been submitting my time card earlier than that, usually because I had no particular reason not to. Karen had been collecting signatures earlier than required, usually by Wednesday, because she used that as a personal performance metric. Getting all the time cards signed before the actual deadline was, apparently, how she demonstrated that she went above and beyond, which meant that my time card, submitted at whatever time I felt like submitting it, was a variable she could not control. And variables she cannot control cause Karen stress. I found this information very useful. I leave work at 5 o'clock. Karen leaves at 4:30. I now submit my time card at 4:50-5 every week. Without exception, I eat my lunch. I do my work. I watch for 55 roll around, and I submit. Karen sees it come in after she's already left for the day. She cannot sign it Wednesday evening. She cannot hit her self-imposed deadline. She cannot demonstrate that she goes above and beyond, because there is one time card in the system that arrives at 4:55 every Friday that has never once been late by any policy that actually exists. And it is stressing her out. She has tried a few things. She went back to my boss, telling him I was submitting late. He asked me about it. I sent him the policy close of business Wednesday. He closed the conversation. She tried again a few weeks later. I sent the policy again. Same result this week. She sent a friend to ask me, casually, whether I'd finished my time card yet. The friend messaged me this morning with the most transparent reconnaissance mission I have ever witnessed. Hey, just checking in. Have you done your time card yet? I replied, cheerfully and completely honestly. No, super busy, but I'll get it done before close of business today, because I will. At 4:55. As always, as I eat my lunch, I can hear the ambient tension in the office about the time cards being late again. I nod sympathetically. I return to my sandwich. Here is the thing about this revenge that I think makes it perfect. I am not doing anything wrong. There is no policy being violated. There is no argument to be had. There is no meeting my boss can call me into and find anything other than a person who submits their time card before the Wednesday deadline every single week. Without fail, Karen built herself a reputation on being the person who gets things done early. She made that her brand, her metric, her evidence of exceptional performance. And in doing so, she created a pressure that depends entirely on everyone else cooperating with her self-imposed timeline. I stopped cooperating. That's it. That's the whole thing. I just stopped cooperating with a timeline that was never mine to begin with, in response to someone who went to my boss over a 4-hour time card. And the result is a law-grade Friday afternoon stress event that she has no standing to complain about and no mechanism to fix. It is small, it is petty, it is deeply, completely satisfying. You know, there's a certain kind of workplace overreach that's hard to fight directly, where someone has just enough proximity to power that a frontal challenge makes you look difficult, but not enough actual authority that the rules are actually on their side. The only real answer to that kind of overreach is policy. Quiet, documented, perfectly legal policy. She wanted to make the rules. The rules already existed. I just started reading them. If this gave you that particular warm feeling that only extremely petty workplace justice can provide, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying low-stakes workplace revenge you've ever pulled off or witnessed? I want every beautiful, petty detail. And if you want more stories of people who forgot their lane and learned an unforgettable lesson, subscribe. New story every week. See you at 4:55.